Hey everyone, Sky Solbach here. I just want to give you a quick overview of the 2026 surfboard range. In terms of the different models we're offering for 2026, it's pretty much the same as last year. So we have our three main models, the Whip, the Volt, and the Blur. And then we also have the Voke. So starting out with the Voke, this is the dedicated strapless freestyle board. Shape-wise, it's taken on a little bit more of a whip-like shape, so it's not quite as square and parallel as it used to be. It has a little bit more curve in the outline, so it's a little bit more surf influenced. It frees up the board to turn a little bit better, but it's still a really dedicated strapless freestyle board, so it's still the board that the team riders want to be on when they're doing all their spin tricks and flips and all that stuff in flat water and freestyle specific. Although you can also surf it. The rail shape has been changed and the deck shape as well. So it's got a little bit more of a surf inspired rail where it's a little bit more of a 50-50 round rail rather than being so square and hard, more like a twin tip rail like it used to be. That just makes the board a little bit more comfortable to ride, frees up the turns a little bit more, and just makes it a little bit more of an all-rounder while still being a really dedicated strapless freestyle board. All right, and moving on to the Volt. This is a shape that we completely updated for 2026. It's still inspired, by the same sort of shape as last year. Still really short and wide, dedicated small wave high performance board. But for this year, we've gone actually a little bit shorter and a little bit wider, so that makes the outline a little bit rounder, makes the board more snappy, more lively. I would say just more dedicated to high performance small waves. So it's going to be easier to follow through a turn. It's not quite as maybe grippy as last year's board, but it's a little bit more free and playful. Great board for carrying speed on small waves when you don't have a lot of power from the kite. The board really flows through the turn nicely and carries speed without the need to have a lot of power in your kite, which is really what you want to have when the waves are small or mushy or the wind is light. And that's really the board that you want to be on when the waves are maybe not the very best. So you'll notice the tail shape is a little bit different. Rather than having a swallowtail, it's got kind of a retro bat tail, which is pretty cool. Kind of has a similar effect to a swallowtail where it takes a little bit of surface area out of the tail so that the tail can sit a little bit deeper in the water and just give you some extra control. So having a lot of width at the front of the board and a flat rocker makes the board quite fast and easy to carry speed. And then we kind of are able to control that speed somewhat with the bat tail taking some shape or some surface area out of the tail. It comes in three sizes. Again, a little bit shorter than last year's board. So we have a 411, a 5.1, and a 5.3. And it comes in two constructions. Comes in our D-Lab construction and then our SLS construction as well. And three sizes for both. So yeah, this is like the go-to small wave high performance board. I think it's quite a big update from last year, and I think people are going to be really stoked on the new shape. So the Blur also comes in two different constructions, comes in our SLS construction and our D-Lab construction. The shape remains unchanged from 2025, so it's the exact same shape, just with the updated constructions and the new graphics. This is a board that I think has proven itself pretty well over the last year with the recent results in the GKA. The guys were riding this board in Cabo Verde. And this is kind of a board you're able to ride in really good waves like Ponte Preta, as we saw Pedro winning the contest on it. But you can also ride it in quite small waves. The guys are riding it in the beach breaks in Brazil. I think it's a true all-rounder. So it's got a round tail, so it kind of has the appearance maybe of being a board maybe more for big waves, but it's actually quite short and wide and has a lot of rocker for in a board this size. So it operates really well on a steep wave where you need a lot of rocker and curve to be able to make your turns and not poke the nose. But it still has enough surface area under your front foot that it carries speed well and operates pretty well at a really wide range of speeds. When you're going slow on a smaller wave, it carries speed well, but you can still control your speed when the waves are pretty big. So it's got a really nice mix and a nice balance of kind of working in all different conditions. And yeah, so if you're going to the beach and you don't quite know what the conditions are going to be, I think this is the one board you can throw in your car and it just kind of works for everything. It'll work in small waves, it'll work in bigger waves, And I think it's just really the true all-rounder of our range that the team riders have been really enjoying, and I think pretty much anyone can jump on this board and have a lot of fun with it. The whip also is, the shape is unchanged from last year, from 2025. Comes in the two constructions for 2026, SLS and D-Lab, with the updates that come along with that construction update. Yeah, this is the board that if you want to have a sort of compact shape with a square nose, yeah, everyone knows what the whip is for. It's an all-rounder. You can use it for strapless freestyle. It's great for that, even if you're just riding on flat water. It's a really stable platform, so it has quite a bit of width, and it's not too long, so you don't have a lot of swing weight. I think it's quite an easy board for anyone to ride. But we see our team riders, for example, riding it in double overhead barreling waves also. So it's kind of like the Blur in that sense, where it really is a true all-rounder. The Blur, I think, is more on the high performance side with a pointed nose. That's kind of an all-rounder in that shape. And then the Whip doubles as an all-rounder if you really want to have that compact sort of shape. And yeah, the Whip is just a board you can use for everything. So yeah. So that's a wrap up of our surfboard range for 2026. I think we have a really cohesive range with 3 models. Pretty much anyone, any style can find a board in there that works for their riding style in pretty much any conditions.